Nerd is the new sexy.
Hello, welcome, greetings. This is Wyldfyre1 and
Sunrie, as always.
Once again here welcoming you to Nerds the New Sexy, where we prove that nerds rule and jocks, well, they're okay.
They're great at bagging my fucking groceries.
Anyway, this is episode number 5, big number 5. We are talking about Kingdom Hearts. Now, I'll explain to all the viewers, or all the listeners out there, what 5 means to us. Episode 5 is our mini-boss episode.
Yes, that's right. Every 5 episodes, we do something special. Long topic, focused on one specific thing without too much rambling on. 5 is the mini-boss. It's usually just going to be me and Wyld focusing on something. But the 10th episode will be the big boss or final boss episode. Well, we'll bring in other people and talk about something like massive.
Because it takes just more than 2 of us to tackle this boss.
That's right. Now, I did do something special for this. I have made a little mini boss introduction music.
Oh, you did?
Oh, you know I did.
Oh, okay,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we go. Here, check this shit out.
Mini boss.
Yeah, that's hot. I'm going to let that play for a while. See, this is how you make boss battle music.
Yeah, Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah. See, that was a remix of the Final Fantasy VI Decisive Battle music. It's done by Johnny Atma over on Newgrounds.
Newgrounds has a lot of good audio artists. Trust me, I think I'm considered one of them. At least one point I was.
Oh, yeah. No, you still are. Yeah. No, definitely go check on newgrounds.com/audio. Badass place to get music.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Definitely go and check it out, guys.
Go check it out and try not to pinch your nipples too hard.
That's right. Yeah, not too hard. You will pinch your nipples, just don't do it too hard.
You might start lactating.
Now, you're probably wondering, why the hell is this episode late? Normally these things come out on Sunday. What the fuck, guys? Well, we did originally record a Kingdom Hearts episode, but neither of us were very happy with it.
It sucked. Trust me.
Yeah. We were glowing so much about just the games and recapping the games that we didn't really get to talk about. You didn't really get to hear us nerd out about it. And that's really what we want to do. And Kingdom Hearts needs
faked.
this.
It was more.
Yeah.
It was like we were talking about the story of the game, which was fine. The story of the game is great. But honestly, if you really are interested in the story of the game, and if you haven't played it already and just want to play it again, fucking play it and get the story. We're tired of giving spoilers.
Yeah, we'll recap on like a quick thing about it and everything like that. But really, we need to nerd out about this more. We didn't really get to it. It was almost 2 hours on the last one, and it still didn't do it justice.
I've been having these weird dreams lately.
Like, was that podcast good? No, it was not.
It was not. No, we were very, very. Yeah, it was. I mean, we nerded out in our own way in it, but at the same time, we were just like it was like we were forcing it. So here you go. Here's a better podcast that we feel is going to be more to the point and what the game deserves.
Yeah.
So
now, to be honest, back in 2002 when the game first came out, I believe, first Kingdom Hearts.
Wasn't that one? I want to say it was.
Yeah, the first one. The first one was around there. I did not want to give this game a chance. I heard that it was going to be a Disney game with Kingdom Hearts not Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts was going to be a Disney game with Final Fantasy characters in it, and all I could think of was who the fuck cares? I don't want to play a Disney game that's going to ruin my Final Fantasy.
See, that was my first thought as well. However, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. Square got their hands in it. And at the time, everything Square touched was gold. So I was like, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And the commercial got me.
I didn't really get into it until my brother called me up and says, hey, my younger brother, he goes, hey, have you heard of this game? I said, yeah. I said, isn't that the one with the freaking Disney characters? He goes, no, you don't understand. He goes, I just started playing this and I'm playing through. He goes, this game is freaking awesome. I'm like, wait a minute, my brother hates video games.
Let's keep in mind, P-Rock is not a gamer, exactly, like you just said. He doesn't like video games. So giving this game like a good, his own good review to Sunrie is actually a pretty big achievement.
Yeah, I mean, P-Rock's just glowing about this. He's talking about everybody he knows is playing it, so they're letting him try it, and I'm just like, okay, there's something to this then.
Yeah, I think a little bit after I talked to you about it too. The game itself, I really liked it. Once I got into it, I was like, once I put it in from beginning to end, I was like, this is awesome. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was even real surprised. I was like, Haley Joel Osment is playing the main character. I don't know. And then all of a sudden he starts talking. I'm like, well, wait a minute, this guy can actually voice act. He works very, very well.
He can act in general. It's just, it's just. And if you don't know Haley Joel Osment, he's from like AI and The Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, yeah. He's a kid who saw dead people.
Yeah, he's just a little. I think he was a little older when that game came out. I think it was. I want to say maybe like 13, maybe a little younger than that. I can't even really put an exact number.
Yeah, probably around that.
Yeah. But
I was neither of us were really keeping tabs on the kids. So.
Yeah, it's just like actually my dad was a big fan of Haley Joel. I don't even know why. Like I'd come home from work at one point and he'd always have AI on, and I'm not kidding. He would like pause it and he'd be like, "They say the kid doesn't blink at all in the show. He blinked right now." I'm like, fuck. Dad,
I remember him blinking in AI. Yeah,
he blinked in AI. A lot of people said he didn't, but he did.
Yeah, and if we ever refer to somebody as Sophisto, we're talking about Wild's father.
Yeah,
that we're gonna use this handle,
which we'll has kind of a background. We'll get to that.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. But and seriously, So I kind of go out and I buy this game. I'm like, you know what? I got a few bucks. I need a new PS2 game. You know what? Let me check this Kingdom Hearts 2 out. If P-Rock likes it that much, I've got to check this out. Put it in. Instant freaking fan. That opening song right at not Sanctuary. That's the second one. Simple and Clean.
Simple and Clean. Which of course, when I first heard that song, I thought of a Disney song with the same name.
Yeah.
Was it Cinderella or something like that? I can't remember what old Disney movie had that. But yeah, I was thinking Simple and Clean. That's like the same name as one. Yeah, and I was like, oh god, they're gonna open with that. It's gonna suck. And no, instead I get this J-pop kind of.
But not like overly annoying or sweet. Just like really cool and.
Yeah.
And honestly, at that time we hadn't really seen that style of graphics in the game. I'm not saying it was revolutionary by any means, but that kind of oversized feet, cartoony mixed with somewhat more realistic.
It was like what people would look. It's like what we would look like if we were Disney characters in a 3D world. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, and just getting in it and playing around at first, it took a while to get used to the camera and stuff like that. And the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remake, I think, just fixed, I would say, 95%, 99% of the problems.
The camera issues with the first one was a big deal, but at the same time, you know what? I think we were so in love with the game that we didn't really care.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and the first time that you actually run into Donald and Goofy. Now, for those of you who don't really know, and you're listening to the podcast to kind of find out what is this Kingdom Hearts thing? Why are these guys so nerd bonered out for it? Let's put it this way. Mickey Mouse in this game is as badass as Vader.
No, Yoda.
Yes, okay, yeah. He's
Mickey Mouse
his personality is more like Yoda.
Yes, Mickey Mouse
but he's
is the motherfucking
badass.
Yoda of this game. I'm talking like in the sequel, and I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get back to the first one. In the sequel, he's flipping around like Yoda in like the newer
He's doing backflips. He's taking people out. Mickey Mouse has never been this freaking amazing.
You're just like, you're watching him. You're going, dude, he's kicking ass. I've never seen Mickey do this.
Yeah,
this is the best Mickey ever.
Yeah, spinning a keyblade above his head. He's in this dark robe. He's just whooping ass.
Yeah,
and being really cool about it the entire time. Like I'm whooping ass and I don't care.
He's even a little emo at some points of the game.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful.
Kingdom Hearts. I mean, and honestly, the game starts off kind of like that cheerfully, and then it instant dark turn.
Yeah.
His world literally, the main character, his name is Sora. His world literally gets ripped apart by. Think of it for those of you old enough to remember the Never-Ending Story, the first one, not the second one.
That is the perfect reference to this game.
Yeah. It's his world is literally destroyed by pretty much the darkness, which is kind of like the nothing.
Like the nothing, but it's not. Yeah.
It just ceases to exist. There's not darkness. There's not a hole. There's not an empty space. It's just gone. There's nothing. It has been taken over. There's no more light. It's gone. He wakes up in this place called Travis Town. Your first Disney character you end up meeting is Pluto, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is actually really cool.
It was really cool to see Pluto there. Donald and Goofy show up. Goofy has never been cooler.
Goofy is actually always been badass.
Fun. Yeah, he is a total badass. He is probably like Mickey's best knight. He's kind of bumbling and everything like that, so he still does that.
He's still fucking Goofy. He's just more totally badass Goofy.
But he's more badass, yeah. Donald is a mage, and honestly, what better profession for Donald than a freaking mage?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly. Yeah, it's so cool when they show up.
He still has the characters are still the same. Donald's still very pissed off.
Oh, very pissed off,
easily
very
angered.
angry. Yeah.
Goofy still is Goofy, just is still loyal to his name. He's still, he even, I think at one point he even does that awful, horrible, like, shout that he does when he's going to die or something.
Yeah.
He only does it like once or twice, but every time I ever hear it, I laugh my ass off because it's nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, the game is really cool. You meet Chip and Dale. They've got, and I don't,
They have like
I
a
think
bit part, but yeah.
Yeah, they have a bit part. They help you build a ship to travel to the different worlds. And what's going? Yeah, the gummy ship. And yes, that is a reference to the gummy bears, which actually have still yet to show up in the game.
Were the gummy bears Disney? I don't remember.
They were Disney.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I used to watch that cartoon all the freaking time.
Oh.
It didn't make any sense, but I used to watch it all the time.
It was like an acid trip, is what it was.
Yeah, with the gummy juice.
It's acid.
Basically acid.
Oh.
It makes gummies bounce. It makes the gummy bears bouncy, but it makes humans super strong. But whatever.
It's drugs.
It's drugs. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so you go to. I mean, you're going to all these different places, and what you end up finding out is that this darkness is starting to take over, but it's being perpetrated by these things called the Heartless. Now, Heartless are literally people who have lost their hearts, and these Heartless are now seeking hearts of other people in order to become whole again. And they have an insatiable appetite for it. They can never stop collecting these hearts. And then you find out this guy named Ansem is behind it. Yep. So this entire game, you're kind of trying to find his best friend Riku and the kind of sort of love interest, but not really because they're only like 10 or 11 years old.
No, they're all good friends in the first one.
They're all just very good friends.
There's a little bit of a like I think you said before, a love triangle, but it's like more so like a friendly competition between Riku and Sora.
And then
go ahead.
I was gonna say that, and eventually you find out that there's these the 7 Disney princesses, or 6 of the Disney princesses are Princesses of Light, and then the new character introduced in this, which is the love triangle between Riku and Sora, is Kairi. She's only made for the games, and he's trying to find Riku and Sora, while Donald and Goofy are trying to find King Mickey.
King Mickey, king of the Disney world.
King of the Disney World. You even meet the wizard from Fantasia, and they decided his name is Yin Sid, which is Disney backwards. Yep. It actually works out very well for him.
Well, you even meet Merlin from,
Oh yeah. Yeah, you do meet from the Sword and Stone.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the voice actors. The voice actors are a big deal in this. We've already mentioned Haley Joel Osment. He plays Sora. I don't know if any of you know who David Gallagher is. That's Riku.
Oh yeah.
Hayden. I'm probably
Hayden Panettiere.
Thank you. That's Kairi.
That's Kairi.
Billy Zane plays the voice of Ansem. Billy Zane, guys.
Yeah, phenomenal job, by the way.
Yeah, really good job. And I wouldn't have known this if I didn't look it up, years earlier.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, very. Mandy Moore plays Aerith, who's actually Aerith from Final Fantasy VII.
That's right. They in the first Kingdom Hearts, they called her Aerith for some reason.
Well, they called her. Are you sure? I thought it was Aerith.
I don't remember. Sure. I remember thinking at one point I was like, wow, they named her wrong.
Yeah,
but it may have been a typo when they were actually saying Aerith, because I could have sworn the rest of the time everyone else calls her Aerith.
Well, I think it was Aerith with an S in Final Fantasy VII, and then it's Aerith in this. So,
which is what she's supposed to be called.
So Steve Burton plays Cloud Strife. If you guys don't know Steve Burton, he's been in several good movies. The Last Castle is one of my favorite movies he's been in. There it goes on. Lance Bass plays Sephiroth. If you guys don't know who Lance Bass is, you obviously don't know music very well.
Lance Bass plays Sephiroth, the most celebrated, unknown to me why, Final Fantasy villain
he's a
of all time.
He's a mama's boy.
Total mama's boy, but he plays Sephiroth in such a fantastic way because he doesn't make Sephiroth. And look, I liked Advent Children. I thought it was great. I'm a little pissed off that we didn't get Final Cut, but whatever.
Yep.
Which goes into a lot more detail and explains a lot more things that aren't explained in the anime. He plays Sephiroth so damn well. He's not monotone. He shows Sephiroth has an emotion, and just he's great. I was really surprised at the job he did, because when I first heard
Cloud.
yeah. Shall I give you misery? I give you pain?
This is my normal voice. I'm excited right now.
But he doesn't. Yeah, and he doesn't play him that way. He actually plays him very well. Because when I heard Lance Bass with Sephiroth, I went, oh fuck, and then I heard him and I went, Okay.
So those are some of the more known names for the first game. Now there are several games in the series.
Now, to kind of get in, I want to say it had to have been, yes, it was the first Kingdom Hearts because I was still living in California at the time.
Mm-hmm.
After beating Kingdom Hearts, and this was probably a few months later, and I had played through the game 4, 5, 6 times at this point. Not my wife, but the girl I was dating at the time. She and I go to Disneyland. Okay, and I think I told you the story, Wild.
I think you have.
We're standing in line for the Matterhorn, and if you haven't been to Disneyland, where the Matterhorn is, it's this really cool a bobsled roller coaster type thing. No flips or anything like that, but it's like a slalom course. It goes around the mountain. But right across from that, behind you is what's called Storybook Lane, where you're sitting in a boat. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're standing looking at the mountain where the entrance is, to the right is Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
They play different music going through, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, she said, my eyes glazed over, and I'm looking around. She goes, what? And I tell her, I said, I'm waiting for a Heartless to show up, and Mickey to hand me a Keyblade and hear him go, oh, let's go beat some ass.
Yeah.
That is how cool Mickey was to me at that time because of this game.
Yeah, and then he got better and better.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm like looking around. I scoured Disneyland. They do not, at least at the time, sell Keyblades. I was so sad, but I bought a wizard hat.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone needs a wizard hat.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So I pretend I was Donald. So
everything's better in a wizard hat. So.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you can wear that. You can wear that when we take a photo with my Keyblade. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But you know what was cool though was the character actors knew of Kingdom Hearts, most of them. So when you would if you made a reference, they would do poses and stuff like that from the game.
Oh, that's too fucking
like
cool.
Yeah. Like when Donald when I said something about like that, like I was walking by Donald and Goofy and stuff like that, they were walking around taking pictures, and I said something about, God, I wish I could see him cast Thundaga. He like made a motion, took this person's cane, held it up in the air, and did the pose like he was casting the magic, and then gave me the thumbs up.
That's cool.
It was so freaking cool.
I would have fell over with a nerd runner. That's just too cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That is how awesome this game is.
Yeah. So if you haven't played it, it's a definite recommend. You know, like it's there's the game that like even it gets to you like all from beginning to the end. You just get it gets a little emotional through it, and it's a damn good game.
Yeah.
You know?
It actually it'll tug on your heartstrings a little bit, and the overlying story is very good, and the whole counting on your friends and things like that. It does it in a way that's not preachy.
It's like The Hobbit.
But makes it obvious. You know what? Yeah, it kind of is.
But they're not midgets.
Yep.
Or wee people or whatever the technical term is nowadays.
Hobbits.
They're
stupid fat hobbits.
They're not furry-footed yeah.
But great game. I mean, the information it gives you is enough, but it gives so many questions.
And the story basically was like, okay, this is what's happening, but we're not gonna explain why.
Yeah, explain why, how, what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, the game could have ended the way it was, and it would have been okay. Because we would have been wanting another one, but the secret scene that's in this game really made people want more, and it's so well that they were so glad and said, okay, we get to make a second one now.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, thank God when I heard about it. And like Wild was saying, there are many, many games in this.
Each one answers a little more, but gets you more curious about what's going on.
Yep.
It just gets so in depth. I mean, the story writing in this game is actually really impressive.
Yeah. I think it's got a strong script. It's got strong voice actors, and then all of a sudden, Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out, and I didn't get it at.
Oh, I hopped on that. I hopped on that like a porn star on a dick.
And I'm not saying I didn't get it because like I was confused. No, I mean I just didn't get the game right away. I wanted it. I didn't have the money. I was unemployed for a while. Then and after moving here to Colorado, was in college course and everything like that. And finally, I get the money for this game, and I go out and get it. Now, Wild, what was one of the first things that you told me after putting that game in and playing for like probably 20 hours straight, and then finally giving me a call?
WoW?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember exactly what you're trying to reference, but WoW.
Oh, okay. The opening.
Oh, holy shit! It's an amazing opening. The music is amazing. Like one of the things that that Sunrise and I, because after the first game, he and I would like try and figure out what the hell the answers to these questions are.
Yeah, and we were wrong.
Yeah, well, I was never so happy to be wrong about a game.
Yep.
But opening to the first song opening to the first game is what I'm saying. Basically, I had a theory, and Sunrise actually, both of us can kind of attest to this because we both kind of thought it up. Is basically we thought that the second song to the second game would be pretty much a response to the first game, the first game song, and that pretty much is it. And I remember hearing the song, and I remember hearing that there was some reverse lyrics in it. And I heard the verse lyrics, and the first thing I did is I went and looked it up, recorded the song. Did what I had to do to get the reverse lyric part, and then reversed it to hear what it said. Now, we're going to put that in this, what the reversed version of those lyrics are, and the normal version of those lyrics in this podcast. But you'll definitely get to hear what we found. But what Sunrise is asking me to say is that I fucking loved it, dude. The opening to the sequel was amazing. It was fucking bonerific. It was great.
Yeah, it took what was so good about the first one and went, okay, let's crank it up to 11 now.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those where, again, the graphics were even better. The intro was even more epic. And then when it drops you into the game, you kind of go, hold on, time up. This isn't Sora.
Yeah. You're like, you're not playing the lead character.
Yeah.
Now, the voice actors in Kingdom Hearts 2, I'll go over this real quick. Same as usual, David Gallagher, Haley Joel Osment, Hayden, last name I can't pronounce. You got Jesse McCartney, who plays the guy who isn't Sora. Roxas. You have Brittany Snow playing a new character called Naminé.
Naminé is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about her too.
You have the late
Christopher
Lee, who plays a character named Diz, and you get to find out a lot about that character in particular, and he's very important. And Christopher Lee is an amazing actor, let alone a spot-on voice actor for this character. So it's just and there's just a bunch more. I mean, I think let's bring up the elephant in the room, though, the absolute most controversial casting, which everybody agrees was one of the poorest choices ever. Mina Suvari as Aerith. Oh yeah, they really kind of.
Oh my God.
She kind of sounded like she wasn't. I don't want to say too happy, but she was kind of too happy.
Yeah.
She just.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. We have voiced our distaste for Tara Strong as Harley, where she sounds too cheerleadery. Now, Aerith, I think it's just as poor choice, but you know what? Even more so, because Mina, she doesn't sound very good as Aerith. Aerith is a very polite character. She's very
caring,
upbeat and caring. However, the amount of sugar, saccharine, sweetness is terrible.
The bitch gave me diabetes.
Yeah, you get from the moment she opens her mouth, you get diabetes from Aerith, and it doesn't stop. It's at times when she should be concerned, she's still, oh, Sora, I'm so glad you're okay. I'm not kidding. It's that bad.
It's like I say for Tara Strong, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just her trying to sound like Aerith, trying to mimic from the first game, and it's poorly done, and it's just, I can't necessarily just blame her for it, because really, there are people that hire these people to play the part. So the person who goes, oh, yeah, you can obviously do Aerith, is the one who probably should get kicked in the nuts.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can't just blame her for it, just like the whole Harley Quinn thing with Tara Strong. We can't. Because someone out there went, close enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just
But Kingdom Hearts 2 gets further in. And the beauty of these Kingdom Hearts games is you go to Disney worlds, you get to see different Disney worlds and different I guess versions of Final Fantasy worlds, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But not necessarily the Final Fantasy worlds that we know and love.
Yeah, actually, well, no, you don't really go to the Final Fantasy world. The Final Fantasy characters are present in Disney World.
Yeah, but isn't one of the worlds supposed to be like a version of their world that got corrupt?
Yeah,
more or less, right?
Yeah, and that is kind of an interesting point that you're bringing up that we should address. There is a place called Radiant Garden. Well, at first, it's called
Hollow
Bastion. What do they call it? Hollow Bastion, and it kind of suggests that every single Final Fantasy character exists at the same time in this world called Hollow Bastion,
No, he
which
says-
was originally called
He says
Radiant Garden.
he says it suggests this. It doesn't necessarily tell you flat out.
Correct. Yeah, we know for certain Squall, which they rename Leon.
For no
Now,
reason.
yeah, and I'm gonna bring this up immediately after we're finished with this, because it drives me crazy. Yuffie, Sid, Cloud, Sephiroth, who else was from the Final Fantasy that was in there? Yeah, Aerith. It suggests, and it straight up says that they are Tifa, because you run into her a couple times.
Fujin and Rajin are in it.
Yeah, Fujin and Rajin. You know, actually, no. Okay, now interesting thing about them, and Safer, they're actually from Twilight Town, apparently.
I guess. I guess.
Yeah.
It kind of suggests that they are.
Yeah, it kind of suggests that they are.
Vivi
Same with Axel.
well.
Oh yeah, Vivi.
Yeah.
Vivi is
Orin?
freaking amazing.
Orin's in it. Yuna, I guess, is in it.
Yeah, Yuna. Well, she's one of the fairies. Yuna.
That's right. Riku.
Yuna, the
Pain.
female Riku, and what's her name?
Pain.
They're fairies.
From Final Fantasy X2, 10-2, guys.
Yeah, let's play dress up Barbie. All right.
That game doesn't exist, but go on.
So it heavily implies that they are from Radiant Garden, which is now Hollow Bastion, which ends up becoming Radiant Garden again in Kingdom Hearts 2.
You see it as Hollow Bastion in 1.
Yeah.
It's like the last place you go.
The Leon thing. I'm sorry, but honestly, with how not real good, I'm going to say bad, Final Fantasy VIII is, does Squall really have the pull and the personality and deserving of the ego to say, I shouldn't call myself Squall anymore. That's too good of a person. I'm going to change my name to Leon because I can't live up to how badass Squall is.
Well, you know what I think it is, honestly? I think he's not emo enough, so they had to contend him with Cloud. So he's
but that's the thing. You go back and play FF7, Cloud, up until the last eighth of the game, isn't even emo.
No, but people have made him that way.
Okay, that's true.
But that's another topic. But yeah.
Yeah. If anybody in this game had the right to go, I shouldn't be called that anymore, it is Cloud.
It is Cloud. You should be like, I shouldn't be called Cloud no more. Let Aerith die.
Yeah.
But she's right here. And
yeah, my name's Richard.
I'm Bob now. Bob Strife.
Yeah. I'm no longer Cloud Strife. I am now Richard Bonaparte.
Yeah, of all the people like Leon, fucking Squall, a lot of people will go, Squall who? I mean, don't get me wrong, the character it doesn't even match his character in the game. His character in Final Fantasy 8? Yeah. Final Fantasy 8, his character was like this overconfident douchebag, and he's like, I've died. Him and Cypher always had a thing. You don't even I say a thing like they were in competition all the time. But you don't even see them interact, man. You see Chibi Cypher in the fucking game, and it's not a complaint. It's just come on.
Yeah.
If you're gonna change the name of somebody, do it with someone with some pull. And why Squall and why not Cecil?
See, the reason being is that the
animation, I understand, but
no. What happened was from Final Fantasy VII on, it was a different character designer and director, and he was working on the Kingdom Hearts. So that's why you only see Setzer as a cameo in Kingdom Hearts 2, and the enemy of the dark side was a reference to the Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
But you don't see a whole lot of them. That's what's going on with that. They've actually kind of confirmed that.
Well, it'd be nice to see Cecil or some of the other older Final Fantasy, even Terra, for Christ's sake.
I agree.
They're running out of in one of the later games. They used a game that wasn't even Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
God damn it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
and there's a reason they use that as well.
Yeah.
Now, what's cool about Kingdom Hearts 2 is...
wait a second. I'm sorry. Right. Cheech Marin was a voice actor in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah, remember? Well, yeah, he played...
He played Bonsai.
Yeah.
I did not see that until just... Holy shit.
Yeah, I think he was the only one who reprised his role for the Lion King world.
Wow.
Because Whoopi Goldberg was not in it. Johnny Depp was not in it.
Oh, no. Cheech fucking Marin.
Yep.
God
bless. Yeah, he plays
him.
Bonsai.
God bless that man. Hell yeah. Go on with what you were saying. I'm sorry. I just seen that, and I'm like, holy shit, Cheech.
Yeah. But once again, like we were saying with the opening, they took everything that was badass about Kingdom Hearts 1 and went, okay, 11.
Yeah.
You go to, I think, more worlds. Not too many more, but like 2 or 3 more worlds than you did.
Fucking Tron's world.
You go to Tron's world. The guy who did the NCP sounds like the M-fucking-CP. It was awesome.
It was very well done.
Fun level. It's called Space Paranoids.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
James Earl Jones played Mufasa.
Yep, James Earl Jones reprised his role as Mufasa.
No, it wasn't reprised. It was archived. They had
They
had his ass. They had that. Those.
Oh, that's right. They owned him.
Was fucking owned.
Yeah.
No, well, they own him more than once now. He's fucking Vader and Mufasa.
That's
he
true.
He belongs to Disney.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the archive. They reused his voice, and
That's
it was really cool. And one of the cool things about Kingdom Hearts is, one, every level is themed out Disney style, and they changed their look in a lot of the world. So when you go to the Lion King world, because it was all animals, you're an animal. You're playing as a little lion.
Was there a Lion King world?
Yep.
I feel bad that I'm forgetting this.
In the second one, not the first one.
That's
in the
right.
second one.
That's right.
Because in the first one, he was a summon.
Well, let's not forget to mention, of course, or let's not neglect to mention the fact that you go to the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, and here's what was cool when the game first came out.
The movie just came out.
The movie, yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, the movie had just come out, but here when the game first came out, real quick to mention, you end up running into Pete. Yes, from Steamboat Willie and the guy who's
the bad guy,
Mickey's rival.
Yeah.
Pete is being a bad guy. You end up sympathizing with him later, and we'll kind of cover that real quick, but in a little bit. But what's cool is Pete is there, and all you see is from the waist down, pretty much, of all these characters. And Pete is talking to them, and then all of a sudden, it shows you the character. They digitized the actors' faces.
Yep.
This is on the PS2. I know they did it really cool on the PS3 for LA Noire, but this was back when the technology had just come out.
It was pretty new at the time.
So the guy who played Barbossa, his face is in there. Yeah. Keira Knightley's face is in there.
Yeah, Orlando Bloomin' Onions is in there.
Orlando, Bloomin' Onions in there. Their faces are in there. Haley Joel Osment looks like fucking Sora.
Yeah, you know what? I can't say they used his face for the character, but
they did.
Okay, I mean,
yeah, obviously it was cropped. They didn't use his hair and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
The hair, of course, was a little different.
So I mean, it was really cool because you're going through all this game. It's bright, it's colorful, it's cartoony. Then all of a sudden, you get to this kind of film grainy, gritty, very realistic on the PS2 looking world.
Mm-hmm. Looks just
it's
like a movie almost.
Yeah. On the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD remake, it doesn't look as impressive because the rest of the game has been upscaled so much that it simply looks like a more realistic world as opposed to being an, oh my god, look at the contrast.
But at the same time, they still kept the Disney-like outlook of the game.
Yeah.
The big feet and the goofy.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
Yeah, and the way that you beat the enemies, you had to get them into the moonlight because as soon as they were in the shadows, you couldn't touch them anymore.
Well, you would touch them, this just wouldn't do nothing.
Yeah, it was just yeah, so I mean, they kind of did the whole movie thing, and it was freaking awesome. The one world that everybody talks about in this game, besides Tron and the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's the one everybody hates. And after playing back through, I don't think it's as bad. It's just tedious as fuck. It's when you go back to Atlantis.
Oh, God. The seaweed is always green. Da, 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 da. Oh, God. No.
And Disney, if you're listening to this, we didn't finish that. You can't sue us.
Yes. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You don't own me.
Yeah.
They're of course, they're wringing their fingers going, not yet.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Atlantis. Atlantis was really cool in the first game because you can move around and interact. You could kind of move around in this one, interact a little bit, but it was a lot less.
Yeah, you could really only go to that first area to swim around.
Yeah, and then it was mostly like doing it's a big mini game is what it was.
Yeah, and I forget who did the parody. I thought it was Penny Arcade, but it's not. It must have been someone else. The funniest little drawing cartoon I saw of it was Sora sitting there in the water. King Trident comes up and he's like, "Hey Sora, how you doing?" He says, "I'm doing good. Have you seen your Heartless lately?" He goes, "No, come with me. We're about to sing." And the next chat box is and he swims away, and Sora is floating towards the surface with his ears bleeding. That is the most accurate representation of this. Haley Joel
are good. It's just
he tried. You know what? He's just not a singer. He tried.
He's an actor, not a singer, and it wasn't bad. It's like he really didn't try. He really only sang the first song.
He sang a couple of them where he would fill in.
Yeah.
And, he was off pitch. Honestly, it's like when I say, if you guys ever see like some of the videos where it's like, like, oh yeah, I guess that's kind of in key. It's kind of like that. I can't really sing. But I can fake it sometimes. And yeah, like when I did that,
Yeah.
for the meatloaf thing when we were joking around. It's not horrible. It's just it's tedious because it's nothing but a bunch of quick times.
It's a mini game. It's basically a quick time movie that either you fail or you succeed in.
Yeah, and if you fail, you retry. There's no real penalty.
And they even bring back Ursula at one point.
Yeah.
And you gotta basically
another
fight her in song motion.
Yeah.
Which is
you're not controlling it. It's another quick time event.
And I mean, if you played the first game, you would love to kill Ursula again.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's not because she's badly acted. She's just a horrible fucking villain in Disney.
Oh yeah.
She's like she's like the what was the Aladdin guy? Jafar. She's just as her and Jafar. If I could find them in real life and kick them in the nuts, Ursula in the nuts, I would because I grew up with hating those fucking villains.
Okay, for me, I want to put now first I would grab them and kind of rub my face in them. But then I would punch Jasmine in the tit. She has an all-powerful genie who, at the point when they get the lamp back, Aladdin could have handed her the lamp. Her one wish could have been, Genie, before you're set free, please make sure my people are prosperous. They never go hungry. We have enough water, and there's no crime.
Instead of
go free.
Fuck that,
Fuck
Genie, you're free.
Yeah, she's a cunt. She's a horrible leader.
As the people are like, we're still hungry.
Yeah. Hey, but she lives in the palace, so it's all good.
Well, that's about how that's monarchy for you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a little sidetracked about that, but she's a horrible leader. But she happens to be one of the princesses of heart, or light. So I guess we can't really.
I guess she's kind of got a heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think do you go back to Agrabah into?
You do.
Yeah, that's
because you fight Jafar in.
It's like the sequel.
Yeah. Honestly, that is one of my favorite levels, simply because you get to fly around on carpet. Yes, the actual magic carpet, which is I think the name is literally carpet.
Carpet, yeah, I think it's carpet.
You get to fly around on that.
Mm-hmm.
And whoop Heartless flying ass, and the mini boss fight to that when you're running away to actually get to where Jafar is and stuff like that, and you're hauling ass, and it's kind of on rails, so you don't really get too much control over it at that point. But it's a lot of fun. Things are flying at you. You're knocking them back. You're doing all the kinds of combo attacks. It is a lot of fun. It really shows off the graphics of the time.
Yeah, it's a very good fight. I think that's the one where you're like in the open area at that. Yeah, it's like
it's a big open area.
Yeah, that's a really cool part of the game. Makes me want to play it again.
Oh yeah. No. Ever since we were talking about this, I'm like, I definitely want to go back and play this.
Yes.
Now the black sheep of the whole Kingdom Hearts family is definitely Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories
on the Game Boy Advance.
Just so you guys know, Chain of Memories was on the Game Boy Advance. Wasn't up to snuff to look just like Kingdom Hearts. It had to be a 2D, which is fine. They could have done a side-scroller 2D kind of thing and still got away with it.
Yeah.
Instead, they wanted to go a route of card battle.
It is as different from the first Kingdom Hearts as Zelda 2 is from the original Zelda.
Yes. Now, the only good part about this game is that it introduces some of the main villains that you see in the sequel.
This is when you start learning about something called Organization 13.
Yes, and you meet Axel and some of the other guys and whatnot. But that's probably one of the good things. In fact, I think Naminé is even in this game.
Yep, that's the first time you hit Naminé. And I remember playing it because I got it on the Game Boy Advance. I'm thinking, okay, cool, Chain of Memories. And then I start getting to the card battle, and I go, what the fuck, I hate this.
The card battles are so tedious that you just want to kick an infant.
Yeah.
You'd rather kick an infant than play it.
Yeah, and look, I know the whole thing with math is easy, just follow instructions. Fuck you, math is hard, because there's only one right answer. And honestly, you have to be kind of good at math and really knowing how to fuck with the system to be able to play this game.
Yep.
Because not only is the battle based on cards, but the rooms are based in cards. Mm-hmm. So if you go through it, if you pull a card, drop it down and say, okay, this is the room I want to create. You go into that room. If you want to go back, you can't. You have to make another room.
Yep.
And all these modifiers with the cards, you can only hold a certain amount of cards because they're certain power. A 0 card beats any card if it's played after a card. Mm-hmm. But if it's played before a card, then it's the weakest card because any card can beat that. But some enemies can have attacks that go up to 13, but your cards only go from 0 to 9. So to be able to defeat a 13, you have to use what's called sleights and use 3 cards that add up to more than 13.
I wanted to kick an infant.
It's frustrating beyond compare.
I want to kick an infant now because we're talking
just thinking about it.
Yes.
But the cool thing is, and I remember one of the first little cutscenes that you do when you get into there, one of the villains says, "Who gave you that locket or the trinket or the necklace or something like that?" I want to say basically this is one of the things that Kairi gives to him and Riku in the first Kingdom Hearts game.
Kind of like this is my lucky charm. I know you're going to return it kind of thing.
Yeah. He goes, "Of course I remember. It was, and he can't remember." And they mock him and he says, "It was Namine." And I sat there looking at my Game Boy Advance going, who the fuck is Namine?
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't even pronounce the name. Nimine? Not Yarmany? Because it wasn't in voice. It was all text.
It's all text.
So I'm like, who the fuck is this chick?
Yeah, I was even asking Wild, I'm like, hey, did I miss something in one of the previous games? Was there a comic that came out? And he goes, no, I don't know who this is. Yeah. It turns out Namine is a person that's actually stealing his memories because that's what Organization 13 is trying to do.
But they called her a witch.
Yeah, they call her the witch or the White Witch or something like that.
Yeah.
Through a very long and complicated thing, she exists, and we are going to cover that. But the game I never beat. I ended up having later on, after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and realizing, oh crap, I missed out a lot of stuff by not completing this game. Going back through trying to play games, said screw it. YouTube was now a thing, so I started watching YouTube and going, oh okay. Here's the information I need.
See, I beat it, but only because I had a job at the time that had a lot of downtime.
I even have it on the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remix. I played up until the first level that you get to create after the main thing, which was, for me, Wonderland. Mm-hmm. And I really couldn't beat any of the enemies in there. And I just said, fuck it, I'm not playing because I still don't want to play even with this HD remake.
Oh, and heaven forbid you run out of cards. Oh
God. Yeah, you were screwed.
Oh, and then like each boss, you have to like pretty much redo your cards to like match that boss. It is
for that boss.
Tediously fucking ridiculous. And I want to find the devs, like the developers of that particular game, line them up in a row and shove hot pokers in their asshole.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, and that's not me. I'm not acting. I would love to do that. Yeah. Because I fucking hate people that we were expecting gold and they gave us shit.
Yeah. But then we get an awesome game after Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out called 358 Over 2 Days.
Beautiful game.
This was for the DS. Awesome game. It's all about Roxas. Now we're gonna. I know we're kind of throwing the names, and if you haven't played the games, you're kind of like, well, who are these names? We're going to talk about all
Play
these
the games, damn it.
Yeah. And we will talk about who all these characters are and how they relate to Sora and Donald, Goofy, Mickey, and everybody like that.
We'll give a brief overview.
Yeah. 358 Days follows Roxas. Pretty much what happens, and this is really going to confuse you. It happens slightly before Chain of Memories, up until just before the start of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Actually, we could even say it happened maybe towards the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
It starts during Kingdom Hearts 1, before the end, through Chain of Memories, up until just before Kingdom Hearts 2 starts.
Yes.
It is happening while those other ones are going on.
Actually, to take it back, you're right. It happens up until Kingdom Hearts 2 starts, and then Kingdom Hearts has its own little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Follows Roxas around with his first days in the organization, him pulling missions, learning out what it means to be a nobody. And again, we're gonna explain what all this is, because it's so freaking awesome.
Each game has their own villains,
all the new enemies,
new
stuff
enemies.
Like that.
It's kind of cool.
And everything, and so you learn about that. You meet the other new characters, Xion, and again, we're gonna explain her because all of this, we're starting to get into the very complicated nature of Kingdom Hearts here.
Oh yeah, and it gets so complicated.
Yeah, and we have to talk about it in its own section because it is actually pretty complicated. Same with the overall storyline and how everything came to be. Now, what I didn't like about 358 over 2 days, and again, this is the only thing that I didn't like, and other people tell me how wrong I am, and I still don't believe them. The level system. As you level up, now this is not a card-based game. It is a traditional game where as you fight, you get experience, and as you get experience, you get more slots to put things.
For being on the 3DS, or not 3DS, was it 3DS?
Or the DS.
For being on the DS, it was actually pretty true to the original game.
Yes, it played like the original game. You had a way of moving the camera and locking on. You were only missing 2 buttons compared to, but I don't even think they were really used in the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 that much. much anyway. And it was the L2 R2 buttons that weren't in it. The way the leveling system in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days work, and again we'll explain why this game is called this. It was like a Tetris-based system. You had these blocks of different shapes. And you would kind of connect them and fill up this grid. And depending on how you connected them, allowed you to level up more or use more items or use a stronger version of magic.
Yeah.
And so it was this constant balancing game. And
it's almost like their version of like adding in the gummy block.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Without using a gummy ship. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's kind of cool is you see how the organization in this game was setting up Kingdom Hearts 2 and why you ran into characters when you did and where were they? Why was the guy stealing Beast's Rose?
Yeah.
Well, why were they ignoring Atlanta or Atlantis? Hail Atlanta. Why did they go to, why didn't they go back to Tarzan's world, and stuff like that. You find out why they are where they are. I love that. It gave so much information. Then all of a sudden you kind of go, wait a minute.
It's a prequel to Final Fantasy.
Kingdom.
It's a prequel to Kingdom Hearts 2, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like all the questions that you had between Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, including Chain of Memories. It pretty much goes, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah, but then makes you go, well, fuck, wait a minute. Now I've got a bunch more questions.
Exactly. But that is the nature of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Now, the reason it's called 358 over 2 days is you partake in these missions. And what ends up happening is Roxas ends up kind of in a digital world, and he's thinking that he's still doing the normal stuff. So kind of what happens is he literally has 358 days of memories, but it's only been 2 days. And it's hard to explain why without actually playing the game. It is actually very complicated to the point where I actually can't explain it.
It's difficult. The way I can explain it is he's pretty much in the organization for 350 whatever, and then the extra 2 days. It really explains how many days Roxas exists. That's what it is.
That's what it boils down to.
That's what it boils down to. Yeah. Roxas began in day 1, and pretty much the over 2 is basically like how many days he was in this digital world.
Yeah,
that's pretty much that.
Yeah, and then we get one of the absolute best, next to Kingdom Hearts 2, I would say, Kingdom Hearts game ever. Birth by Sleep.
Birth by Sleep answered so many questions.
And made you at the same time go, oh my god, what's next? Birth by Sleep is the prequel to the entire series.
Now this is what I love about Birth by Sleep, okay? Let's see. Do you remember who I said played Roxas?
Yeah, it was, I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
Well, the guy who plays Roxas pretty much plays one of the heroes in this story, and we'll get to
Ventus.
Ventus. And Haley Joel Osment actually plays the bad guy. Well, one of the bad guys. Vanitas.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get into that story as well. Some of the big parts of this game is this voice actors. Okay, we have so many great voice actors, but this game alone pretty much shows you who the main motherfucker is of this game. The main bad guy, the one you've been longing to find and hate for so long. And his name is Xehanort. And he is
voiced.
Go ahead.
Voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
None other than Leonard fucking Nimoy. God
and
bless
it's so perfect.
And he does it so well. Now it's almost, and we've said this before, it's almost like its own fucking Star Wars. This game is.
Mm-hmm.
We have Leonard Nimoy on the dark side, and on the light side, the confused master teaching these three Padawans, I'll call them, is none other than fucking Mark Hamill.
It is Mark fucking Hamill
playing Master Eriquis, which is another word, a scrambled word for square. So you nerd out on that for a second. That right there alone, you got fucking Mark Hamill from Star Wars versus Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek.
And he does such a good job that even knowing at this point in the series, because before you even play this game, you find out in Kingdom Hearts 2 that Xehanort has been the mastermind behind of everything that's going on, which we'll cover, because it all of this goes into who is Roxas and everything like that, and why does he not look like Sora? Why does the character in this game, Ventus, look like Roxas.
Yes.
It explains that. He plays so well this part that even knowing that he is the bad guy and he is lying, you believe him when he is lying to Terra.
You want him to be good.
Yeah. Even knowing that this is the asshole, the responsible for everything that's been going on, the way he lies and the things that he says to Terra, who is one of the people up for the Mark of Mastery and doesn't get it because he can see the willingness to use darkness in Terra and starts manipulating the crap out of him.
Terra is pretty much the Anakin Skywalker of the series.
But without being a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, without being, Hayden Christensen or whatever his name is.
And just he's just amazing in this game that up until the end, like normally I hate villain speeches. It's like, just shut the fuck up. Now you're going to get all philosophical on us and everything like that. No. When Nimoy opens his mouth as Xehanort, you go, everyone shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Listen, this is going to be good.
Because he's giving exposition, but he's not doing it in a way that feels contrived.
There's a method to Xehanort's madness that
it really
brings into it. And you kind of go, I can see his point. But he's fucking insane.
Yeah, and the reasons he honestly thinks that he is doing not so much the right thing, but the correct thing.
Yeah, he thinks he's not doing it for the good of good. He's doing it because he thinks it's going to fix everything.
Because there's a legend that literally states that after the first Keyblade War, which has already happened by the time Birth by Sleep happens, that a second Keyblade War is going to erupt and the darkness is going to consume everything. Now, the main point of Birth by Sleep is Xehanort gets this pupil named Ventus. He's trying to train Ventus to bring out all of his darkness and use that power. Well, Ventus is too nice of a guy. He won't do it. So what Xehanort does is he's a little bit of a bitch. He takes his Keyblade and forcibly extracts all the darkness inside of his heart.
He pretty much unlocks he unlocks Ventus's heart
completely removing it. Now, what's interesting to find out is Xehanort is actually in possession of the Keyblade of men's hearts. Now, this is very, very important.
Yep.
This is how he gets the darkness out. Now, because Ventus is not a Princess of Light, he cannot exist with any darkness in his heart whatsoever. He goes completely comatose. Vanitas at this point is also completely comatose.
Yep.
Now, you don't see his face at all. Now, this is very important. Again, very important. His face is completely covered. You'd never see him.
Up until the end.
Yeah, up until the end. Going back to Xehanort's home world, Destiny Islands, which is where Sora and Riku are
Kairi.
from. Well, no, Kairi's actually from Radiant Garden.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So Sora and Riku.
Yeah, Sora and Riku are from Destiny Island. This is Xehanort's home world. You find out that Yen Sid discovers Xehanort on this small little tiny world. Xehanort wants the fuck out of it.
Kind of like some other familiar people that we know in the game.
Yeah, and decides, hey, this kid has potential to become a great Keyblade warrior. So he takes him under his wing with Ericus. They grow up, become Keyblade masters. While they're doing all this, Xehanort discovers the darkness and how powerful the darkness can be. And starts to learn.
Side.
Yeah. Starts to learn that at one point there was only one world. Now, this world consisted of equal light and equal darkness. Well, people started to fight over who should own the light, and it started to throw stuff to imbalance. What's called a Keyblade, which is a weird X-looking thing. It is actually the Greek.
It's actually spelled X-Blade, but it's pronounced Keyblade.
Key. Yeah, it's the Greek letter or symbol for the word key, also known as Chi, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
Or you can say it's the Greek number X, Greek number 10.
Pretty much, yeah. It kind of looks like that. And this is the one true Keyblade. So everyone starts making replicas, but they're imperfect. There's Keyblades of light, there's Keyblades of darkness, and all of a sudden people started realizing that, wait a minute, we need to protect the light. So they used the Keyblades that was originally made to extinguish the light to protect the light. Massive Keyblade war erupts. Light and darkness in equal sides clash, everything goes kablooey. The only thing that saves existence is, Disney time, the light left in the hearts of children. I'm not kidding. This is the explanation.
Yeah, thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Disney. Children save the world. Woo!
And pixie dust makes my nuts glow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is the separate lights in the hearts of all the children light into the darkness and create new worlds. To make sure that the Keyblade War never, ever happens again, the worlds are separated by the darkness and all the doors and roads are closed. Well, a few people...
Locked.
Yeah, they're locked. So a few people start to get access to Keyblades again, and some of them can travel between the worlds, and they all decide, you know what, we need to protect what light is left. Nobody ever tell anybody that you're traveling and you're from other worlds. Don't tell anybody there's other existences. And that's what Ericus and Yensid and Xehanort are doing. But Xehanort says, hey, wait, I want that original Keyblade. The only way to make this thing is to have a being of pure darkness and a being of pure light slam into each other, and it will rebirth the Keyblade.
Pretty much fight until exhaustion.
Yeah, and so this is what he wants to do with Vanitas, who is all of the darkness of Ventus. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, didn't you say that a being of pure light who's not a princess of heart can't exist? Yes. While comatose, Ventus hears a voice. That voice tells him, basically, hey, your heart's fractured. I'm a newborn heart. Why don't I help mend you? And one day when you're strong enough, you can go off on your own again. This starts...
Disney.
Yeah, because Disney.
Mm-hmm.
This starts to wake up Ventus again, and he's able to wield a Keyblade again. So Xehanort goes, this is working out perfect. I'm going to give him over to Ericus. And he starts to train the boy. He starts to learn how to talk again, and eventually forgets everything that happened to him up until the point that he was dropped off with Ericus. Again, very important here that you know that that a newborn heart mended him. Slowly, Vanitas is able to have weird powers, and he's more vocal. He can talk. He's doing stuff on his own. These things called the unversed, which are basically human emotions, start to show up.
Yep.
You find out that Vanitas is directly responsible for it. Well, all of a sudden, played through the game, you get to the end, Vanitas, his helmet is cracked, and he looks like Sora.
Like motherfucking Sora.
Again, this is the reason you needed to know that he had Sora's heart is what mended Ventus.
Yes.
So, the part that was filled in, that is Vanitas, took on what Sora looks like, because that is where his place in his heart was. They end up clashing. Ventus defeats Vanitas. However, Ventus's heart is complete with this other piece. So Vanitas can't go back to Ventus and become a whole creature again.
So in other words, the Keyblade, the X-Blade,
the Keyblade, X-Blade, Chi-Blade, which cannot be completed.
Which kind of put a piece of shit in Xehanort's cereal. Yeah.
Now, nobodies are created when a person with a strong will loses their heart, their body becomes a nobody. Their heart basically disappears and becomes a heartless. Why is this important? Well, remember, when Vanitas is now comatose, he can't leave behind a nobody because his heart didn't actually have any darkness in it.
Mm-hmm.
That darkness did not flow back into him. He did not create so Ventus is completely comatose, stored somewhere safe by Aqua, his other friend, who was one of the other Keyblade masters. Sora still exists. So what ends up happening at this point, Sora has been born. Ventus, his heart is now stored inside of Sora because Sora's heart was released with that piece of him, goes back to Sora, takes that part of Ventus with him.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of near the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, you find out that Kairi is completely comatose. Now, again, this is very important to understand. Kairi has no darkness in her heart. She is a princess of heart. She is a being basically of pure light.
Because Disney.
She cannot produce a heartless because the darkness in her heart doesn't exist. So she can't make a nobody. Technically. Her heart, because of a spell that Aqua in Birth by Sleep places on Kairi, gets stored safely with Sora's heart. So technically at this point, Sora has 3 hearts residing in him. His own, Kairi's, and Ventus.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to help Kairi wake up, Riku, who is acting as a bad guy at this point, working with Maleficent, says the only way to make Kairi wake up is to give her your heart.
Which he was kind of right.
Yeah, he was kind of right. So Sora does it. Now remember, he's got 3 hearts in him right now. Sora uses the Keyblade.
How was it? Harikari or whatever it's called?
Basically seppuku.
Yeah.
He commits seppuku. He releases the heart, which then goes into Kairi. Sora turns into a heartless. Now remember,
he can basically control himself. But go on.
Yeah, but he can control himself because of the extra hearts and the light of Kairi and everything else that was within him. So what ends up happening is, remember, a person of strong will creates a nobody when they die or they have their heart stolen.
And at that point, I would say he's pretty fucking strong-willed.
Which is why the Keyblade continues to go back to him, even though you find out he was never supposed to be a Keyblade wielder to begin with.
Nope. Was supposed to be fucking Riku.
Yep. So, Sora now, as a Heartless, produces Roxas, because all the organization characters get the X in their name because of Xehanort with their names scrambled.
Yeah. So
now,
Sora with an X, Roxas. Yes.
Yeah. Axel's real name is Lee.
Yeah.
Zigbar's real name is Brig. Things like that.
Yeah.
Xehanort is, Xehanort.
Yeah.
With the X. Now, interestingly enough, because Kyrie's heart is now in a body that can produce a nobody, another nobody is made, Naminé. This explains why Naminé has such a tie to Sora's memories and can influence them. Roxas looks like Ventus because because his heart was still tied to Ventus and creates that nobody off of his body.
Yep.
Now, normally what happens is if a heartless and a nobody clash back together, they're basically reborn as the person and are like, oh my god, I'm back.
Bling!
Bling. Well, that doesn't happen. Sora, being able to control himself as a heartless, follows Kyrie and Mickey and Donald, or not Mickey, but Donald and Goofy, and follows him around. She realizes instantly, because there's still something about this heartless that she can detect some light in, that, oh my god, this is Sora.
She protects him.
Yeah, she literally protects him from the other heartless, because the other heartless start to attack him because they can detect that there's still some heart and light left in him.
Well, no, what really happened is they were jumping him into the gang. That's what it was.
Yeah. Blood in, blood out.
Blood in, blood out.
Yeah, heart in, heart out.
It wasn't like darkness in, darkness, whatever phrase you want to use. But they were gonna kick his ass, and she's like, no, he's my Vato.
Yeah. So that piece of darkness or light, or that piece of heart that was filling in Ventus's heart, is still now trapped in this heartless that nobody has all of Ventus's. Kyrie goes, this is Sora. She then uses her ability as the Princess of Heart to transfer his heart back into this nobody. And poof, Sora is back. Now, this is extremely important. Sora now has his body back and his heart back without ever reuniting with his nobody.
Yep.
Either of them. Even though Naminé is technically more like Kyrie because he had her heart, but she is still technically his nobody because Kyrie can't produce a nobody. But he also made Roxas because Ventus's heart, when he released it, is actually what created that nobody, which is why it looks like Ventus.
We haven't even talked about Xion, who's like...
Oh, yeah, no, we're about to get to all that, yeah. So now you've got Roxas running around. He eventually runs into Xemnas, which is the Ansem nobody, who you find out is actually Xehanort.
Yeah.
And he's saying, oh, I know who this is. We're gonna use him. But again, because he has so much like Ventus, Roxas is not going along with their plan. He's questioning a lot of things. He's befriending Axel. He's actually showing emotion. Now, nobodies normally do not have emotion. They lie about it and they fake it.
Yeah. Well, though, even Axel seems to have emotion, which is interesting.
Yeah. And slowly, nobodies eventually grow their heart back, as long as their nobodies aren't their heartless aren't destroyed.
Yeah, or they're not turned into dusks.
or they're not turned into dusks, which are the smaller, annoying nobodies.
Piece of shit.
Well, this Roxas, as a nobody, technically already has a heart, but he's missing that piece of heart that Sora was filling in. So they decide to basically clone him, and it's Xion. Now, what's really interesting about Xion and Roxas is every time someone looks at Xion, because Naminé is being forced to take Sora's memories when he was locked away at the end of Chain of Memories to have his memory siphoned, she is pulling his memories out and supposed to be putting them into Xion. This Xion girl looks very much like Kyrie, but only to Roxas. Roxas has a strong emotional connection to Kyrie and Naminé still, which is why she looks kind of like Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else who looks at Xion sees someone else. For instance, Xigbar hated Ventus and had a strong... So every time Xigbar looks at Xion, he sees Ventus.
They kept calling her like a doll or a puppet.
Yep.
I remember that.
kept calling her Poppet and everything like that. And so every time someone looked at Shion, she looked different, and it got stronger and stronger as the more memories were flown into her. Shion finds out that every time she gets more memories, Roxas is slowly ceasing to exist, and he's forgetting things.
Mm-hmm.
Shion doesn't want to be this creature.
Well, there's one point of the game where like he pretty much can't use the Keyblade, but she can.
She can.
And then it's vice versa.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so she forces them to fight, or Roxas to fight her. Roxas wins. Shion disappears.
Sad ending. Sad ending.
Shion disappears in one of the most depressing endings to a video game I have ever seen. It will tug on your heartstrings, and you will literally go, fuck. As good as this game is, I almost wish I didn't play it.
Yeah, it's a story that you're so excited to play when you first, because you want to answer all these questions, but then you're sad you answered them because you get this like depressing ending where like you're pretty much killing your best friend.
Yep. So now, Roxas, still is a nobody, basically gets all of his heart back. Again, this is very important. He runs into Riku, who is, at this point, still looks like Riku, starts to whoop Riku's ass. Riku says, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to defeat him. You're too good. You're actually better than Sora. I need to do something drastic. And once again, uses the power of darkness.
Takes off your mask.
Takes off his mask, becomes the Ansem Heartless once again. And during the fight, Roxas kind of snaps and is like, why are you doing this here? All of a sudden can use 2 Keyblades.
Mm-hmm. Which is a badass fight. Which is
actually,
I believe
he can use 2 Keyblades is because not only does he have his heart, but he still has that piece and memory of Sora. Mm-hmm. And so he can use 2 Keyblades at once.
That fight was the actual special edition that you saw if you got like everything in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's really cool. They're fighting, then Heartless show up. They start attacking the Heartless. They're running up and down this clock tower. They're throwing Keyblades at each other. Bad ass fight.
Yeah, it's enough to give you a boner.
Yeah, it really is. He ends up knocking him out. That's when Kingdom Hearts 2 starts. Naminé, just like Roxas, really shouldn't exist. Now, the reason Roxas shouldn't exist is because Sora never should have lost his heart to begin with. And then when Sora got his body back, Roxas should have disappeared. But the problem is, like I said, they never got back together. Naminé shouldn't exist because Kairi technically should not ever have a nobody because she's a princess of heart.
See, what I think happened was in Kingdom Hearts 2, at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, they were actually bringing back the memories in the form of Roxas.
Yep.
And when Roxas actually merged back with
Sora.
Thank you, Sora. That's when like everything was back to where it should be. And because even in Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora becomes a badass.
Yeah, and because Ventus's heart is now complete once again. But because he's not supposed to exist, especially as a nobody, when he remerges with Sora, Sora now technically has 2 complete full hearts inside his body.
Two Keyblades.
So now Sora has access to 2 Keyblades. Now, not all the time. He has to go into certain, special forms and things like that. But he now has access to 2 Keyblades.
Yeah.
And then, jumping back into some of the other games, there's the Dream Drop Distance, which I think is the second black sheep of the family, which...
I gotta disagree.
Yeah, no, most people think it's not as good and stuff like that. You've played it, I haven't.
I won't lie to you, it's not as good, but you know what, it still has... And like I told you before, like the storyline I was really, really, really fucking pissed off with up until the last part of the game.
Okay, yeah, see, and I will agree with that, because I watched the Let's Plays, because I cannot play the 3DS, and I'm not going to buy a 3DS and not use the 3D. For anybody who wants to know what I'm talking about, when I use it, if you've ever played Guitar Hero and you've looked up and the wall is breathing. Yeah. So now it's kind of the same effect. When I'm using the 3DS and the 3D's on, I'm playing and I'm okay, but the minute I look up, I have no depth perception. It is like reality is a picture and everything's flat. And I start getting dizzy and I fall down.
It does that
and
to you.
All kinds of weird stuff happens to me, and it's entertaining as hell for everyone else except for me.
Because he's a bitch.
Fuck you. But from what I saw, I actually thought the game looked good. There's the Dream Eaters because everything takes place in a dream. The ending is really cool. What ends up happening is you find out that Xehanort has been able to time travel to any part in time where he currently exists. Now, he learns this from the original Xehanort, who basically informs him, hey, you have to take over a new body. You're not going to live much longer.
Yep.
So he takes over Terra in Birth by Sleep.
Yep.
He then uses that ability, once he's learned how to do that, to start placing the darkness of his heart into other people.
Which is where Organization 13 comes in.
Yep, which is basically creating clones of himself.
Yep.
So most of Organization 13 has pieces of Xehanort in him.
So he, wherever they're at or wherever they've been, he can
go.
be there.
Yeah.
So in the first, like I said before, in the first game where you hear the beginning of the game where you hear like someone in a robed figure speaking to Sora, that is Xehanort.
Yeah, that is the original Xehanort who warned Xehanort as his younger self of what to do.
Yep. A lot of people mistakenly think he's Ansem.
He's not.
That's Xehanort.
It is definitely Xehanort. Xehanort ends up taking over Terra. Terra's will is so strong that he makes Xehanort forget who he was and what he's doing. Eventually, Xehanort is able to remember while working with Ansem the Wise, the real Ansem, who was voiced by Christopher Lee, who is the character Diz, who's pretending to be Diz.
Who takes on the character Diz.
Who takes on the character Diz. Eventually, with the help of all of his little researchers and, assistants, throw the real Ansem out. He then starts calling himself Ansem, Xehanort does, and continues to look at the darkness of people's heart and how to break people's heart without telling people what his purpose is. And Ansem the Wise goes, we have to stop this. This is too damn dangerous. We can't continue to do this. And that's why he throws him out. He convinces everyone, turns Radiant Garden into Hollow Bastion, is producing Heartless, which is why certain enemies that you fight have symbols on them, but other ones don't. The ones with symbols are fake Heartless.
Yeah, they're produced Heartless, like ones that have been made already.
Yeah. Now, fan theories times. All right. So, knowing everything what we do with the Heartless and the Nobodies and everything like that, I still hold this to be true, and other people will argue with me, and I don't care if they think I'm wrong. When a person loses their heart and they have a strong will, they come back as a nobody and still produce a Heartless. I'm saying right now, the first Heartless the first nobody you ever fight without knowing it was a nobody until after you've played through the games again is Clayton in the Jungle World with Tarzan.
The Tarzan world, yeah.
Yep. Because they specifically say that Clayton lost his heart, and when you find him, he is comatose.
Well, he's literally a part of. He's literally a part of that chameleon.
Yep. And I believe that chameleon is actually his Heartless, and he is the nobody, and he's just completely out of control. Which is why you have to defeat both of them separate health bars.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So a Disney character was the first nobody you fight, but not the first nobody in existence.
Well, first nobody and Heartless that you've seen actually probably made correctly.
Yep.
That makes sense. I mean, I could see like arguments with it, but at the same time, it does make sense because the game itself, even characters said that he lost his heart. And what happens when you lose your heart?
Yeah.
And on top of that, think about, actually, I will say this. Remember, there's a cutscene where he's standing there and he sees something. It doesn't show what he sees. It's the chameleon. We know that. And then he shoots, and then they say, like, they hear something. Oh, that's Clayton, blah, 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 and that makes you go that direction, I believe. Well, maybe that was at that point, fan theory. At that point, maybe that was where he was starting to turn into the two.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Because there's Heartless all over that place.
Yeah.
See, and I don't think he got attacked by that chameleon. I think that chameleon is his Heartless.
Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking, remember, the in the first game, the whole point of the Heartless was to attack strong hearts and get stronger.
That's true. So maybe it was the chameleon. His Heartless is somewhere, but that was his nobody.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I still think Clayton was a nobody in that game because afterwards he doesn't snap out of it. You never see him again.
Yeah, he's just there.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you destroyed his nobody. Clayton was a nobody.
I can't argue with that.
He was Claxtian. Or Claxtony. You Claxtony!
Claxtony! Yeah, I see it. I can't argue with that. So that's actually pretty good fan theory.
Yep. Now, what's really cool is in Dream Drop Distance, going back to that, the reason it's really important to understand that Ventus got both light and darkness back is because at the end of Dream Drop Distance, when Organization 13 is pretty much down to almost nothing, they attack Sora and try to make him part of their organization.
They really want that Keyblade wield.
Yeah, they really need that Keyblade.
You know, they when Roxas was there, they fooled him into joining.
Yep.
They couldn't hold on to him. They held on to him with like tooth and nail. They tried, but they couldn't do it. And then
Well, Riku goes in and frees Sora from them. However, Ventus can be then seen sitting comatose on the council as a nobody. Not Roxas.
Ventus.
An actual Ventus. And Sora wakes up. So now at this point, Sora literally only has his heart. However, he does have the emotional strain and everything else of having the other hearts in him previously.
And he seems he seems like he remembers a lot more at that point too. Like they almost woke him from the hiding hearts that were within him. He kind of had the memories too.
Yeah. He's got an extremely heavy burden of all this stuff, but at the same time, it's also one of the biggest sources of his strength.
Well, there's even a part at the end of the game where I think he has a conversation with Roxas.
Yep.
Which is cool, and he says like, "Remember so and so," or it was actually really cool.
Yeah, because when Sora wakes up, because Roxas was starting to remember Sora, then he ends up in the digital world, and then Sora starts to kind of remember Roxas, because at one point Roxas goes, "Hey, come on, buddy. That's not fair. How can you forget me?"
Yep.
And Sora at one point literally goes, "Roxas."
He even sees Shion.
Sees Shion at one point, and that's in Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah.
Which heavily implies that Shion is not completely gone.
Yeah.
That somehow, some way, she might show up in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Which makes me wonder if, like, because she was pretty much powered by memories.
Yeah,
so,
she never really existed, even less than a nobody.
Yeah, she wasn't really even a nobody. She was just like, she was almost like an artificial nobody.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, that's actually exactly what she was.
As opposed to the artificial dark Heartless that they had. So yeah, it makes sense. The game gets really interesting. I mean, I don't think we even got into. We didn't really get into some of the other ones, but that's fine. What is it?
Well, no, it's just Kingdom Hearts as an overall. I mean, I've got such a huge nerd boner for freaking Kingdom Hearts 3. Here's my only real desires with Kingdom Hearts 3 is I don't want to see Frozen.
No. Well, I don't care if I see Frozen as long as I don't have to. We don't do the whole fucking Atlantis thing all over again.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to hear "Let It Go." I don't want to hear that shit. No.
Yeah.
Disney, if you're listening to me, if you're listening to this, no. Don't make us play through the fucking songs of Frozen, please.
Yeah.
Anyone who has kids or has family that has kids has heard that song so many fucking times they're ready just to tear their eardrums out.
And terrible U2 covers.
Please, for the love of God, if you do it, just make it like a playable area.
Yeah, just
no.
And come on, we know in Birth by Sleep, if you use the Pro Action Replay, you can get into an unfinished Jungle Book area. Please, I want to see Baloo.
Yeah, I want to hear Bare Necessities.
Yeah, that would be freaking awesome. Or even, make it like the world from Tailspin. That would be pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, DuckTales. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cartoon. That was a thing.
You even have fucking Scrooge McDuck in Kingdom Hearts 2. So,
yeah.
And Huey, Dewey, and Louie, there's so much potential. I would like to see more Final Fantasy characters, like I said, Cecil, Terra, Cyan, Cyan, whatever you want to call him. I would love to see some of these older characters because they had so much character.
Yep.
If you're gonna don't put in like these awkward games like you did in, I think it was it Dream Drop Distance?
No, it was Dream Drop Distance. And what it was is the team that made The World Ends With You is the same team that works on this. Now, what we probably will see is Final Fantasy 15 in the new Kingdom Hearts because it's the exact same team.
Yeah.
That's working on both, which is one of the reasons why Kingdom Hearts 3 is taking so long to come out. Hopefully here in November we're going to hear an update on when the release date is.
We're going to see Lightning.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're going to
I hope not.
They're going to put Lightning in this game.
I don't think that's the same. Oh no, that is the same thing.
Yeah. I hope Orin basically tears her vagina out because I hate that character so much.
Yep.
Lightning was Final Fantasy 13, 14, I forget which one it was. The game was horrible.
13.
It was horrible.
Yeah, 14's the MMO.
Oh god, that game was so bad.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that fucking game.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy will be a different topic. If you guys are interested in Kingdom Hearts, you can buy them for the PS3, I think exclusively for the PS3.
Exclusive PS3. Get the 1.5 HD remix and the 2.5 HD. Also coming out very, very soon here is going to be Kingdom Hearts 2.8, which is all of the content from the things from prologue and stuff like that, which is basically what happened after Birth by Sleep leading into Kingdom Hearts, which I believe is called Backstory or something like that. You're also getting an HD remastered Dream Drop Distance, which is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
That alone right there is going to be worth the money. I think it's going to be on the PS4.
Well, considering you don't got
PS3.
Dream Drop Distance and you didn't want to play it for the 3DS, it'd be that much better.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be that much better for me because I'm going into it fresh. There's basically there's 2 full games and 2 mini games, smaller games that are going to be on this. If you've got a way of getting it on your phone and you know how to do it, we're not advising you legally to do this or anything like that. But if you have a way of legally doing it, there is called Kingdom Hearts Key.
That's right.
Which is a mobile phone game, which is a massive multiplayer game. It kind of explains what led up to the Keyblade War. And interestingly enough, if you look at Xehanort's Keyblade, his Keyblade has the symbol of one of the missing factions from Kingdom Hearts Key, which highly implies he inherited that Keyblade because Xehanort did not get that Keyblade himself. It was given to him by his first master the person who taught him before Yen Sid gave him the Mark of Mastery. So that Keyblade is actually from the Keyblade War. We don't know how he got the
It's Darth
Keyblade.
Sidious.
Yeah, we don't know how he got the Keyblade of Men's Hearts, but he has it, and he is using it to be a motherfucker.
But we love him. But the sad part is we're not going to see Nimoy play him ever again.
Sadly, no. Same with Christopher Lee. If Diz was supposed to come back, a.k.a. Ansem the Wise, he's probably not now.
Well, if he does, and if he's like a big part of the story, they'll probably find someone that sounds like him that's Disney that can do that. Yeah. But I doubt it's going to be the same.
Yeah. So yeah, go out and play the games, or at least watch some Let's Plays on YouTube.
No, play the games.
Yeah, play the games. You know, if you can, and you got the opportunity. They're inexpensive now. You get a crap ton of stuff for the HD remixes. Totally worth the price of admission on them. And as promised, we are going to play that clip from Sanctuary, which is the Kingdom Hearts 2. We'll play the original in reverse, and then we're going to reverse it so you can actually hear what's said.
The song itself, like I said,
is beautiful.
But there's several. I think there's 3 key parts of the song that actually have reversed lyrics in it, and you reverse it and it says certain things. I think the first one says, "My what did I say?
I need more affection than you know.
I need more affection than you know."
It's all very, very relevant to what's going on in both the games and everything else. So
and the second is like something else. You'll hear it, and when you hear it, you'll understand it. If you've heard the first, like I said, and this was our thoughts on the first song. The first song was basically a cry out for the second song.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, the first song is like a reply to the Japanese version, but it's really more like 2 people in a relationship, and they're talking and they're kind of stating their points of view.
Yeah.
But Sanctuary, I believe, is quite literally just a reply to the first song.
Exactly. And that was that was actually both of our thought when we heard the first song. We're like, they're gonna come out with a second one. It's gonna completely
address this.
Yeah, it's gonna address this because there's so many questions with the song alone. You know.
Yep. So yeah, go out, play Kingdom Hearts.
Play Kingdom Hearts, and thank you for listening to this, our very first mini boss episode.
Mini boss. And like I said, watch out for the Halloween episode on Sunday, regular scheduled time.
Yeah, and I do plan on addressing the new Ash vs. Evil Dead because it comes out on Halloween.
Oh, God, yes. All right, guys, have a good one.
Have a good one. That is the end.
I need more affection than you